where we have brought the UK Home Office into the startup community, where they give free help and advice to startups who are looking to recruit talent from overseas. I've met with the Minister for Immigration twice. We've worked with an organization called the Migration Advisory Committee. This is an independent committee to the government. And up until February, there were no digital and technology jobs on what's called the shortage occupation list for the United Kingdom. There now are, because Tech London Advocates played a very active role explaining to the Migration Advisory Committee what it's all about and why we need these jobs in the UK. We have an education group that works with a number of digital learning programs. We spend a lot of time at the secondary school level, in colleges and universities, showcasing some of the great learning programs that are out there, whether it's Apps for Good, Team Tech, Founders for Schools. These are great digital learning programs, and we're now part of a program called BBC Make It Digital. So the BBC launched a campaign earlier this year, and we're one of 30 partners to really get out there and promote the importance of digital. Women in Tech, it's our largest working group. We have over 300 advocates in that group. And during London Technology Week back in June, which is the second time London's done this, we brought many of our women in tech together. We had an event at the House of Lords for women to come and talk about the challenges that they face and the lack of women in the technology sector, and what can we do about that to change that. So women in tech and diversity in tech is really important. On the other side, we work in areas like fintech, retail tech, health tech, and what we're trying to do there is showcase some of the emerging startups and scale-ups in those sectors. London is being known as a fintech capital. We've seen great businesses from Estonian co-founders, from Tavit and a company who've launched TransferWise. There are other great fintech businesses. Some of these have emerged to become unicorns, billion-dollar companies. So we want to put the spotlight on those businesses so that when we're talking to the media, when we're talking to the government, and explaining, well, this is what fintech's about, or this is what health tech is about, or these are the companies in retail tech that come to Tech London Advocates as a trusted resource. So in the working groups, and the working groups define what it is that they want to do. I don't necessarily say, oh, you must do this, you must do that. It really comes down to leaders who come together, who meet monthly or quarterly and say, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to make sure that we have this type of event. We want to bring this group of people together. We've got Lars here from Growth Enabler. Growth Enabler and I and a few others were in Bangalore at the end of September. We did a TLA event in Bangalore. At the back of that, we launched the TLA Bangalore Working Group, which has 50 advocates in it. Why? Because we felt it was really important that we build stronger linkages between London tech and the vibrant and dynamic tech community in Bangalore. Many of them look to Silicon Valley in terms of growth and expansion, but we were there saying, well, why don't you look at London? Why don't you look at the rest of Europe as a possible alternative when you're looking to grow and expand your businesses? And that came through a working group. So there's all kinds of tactical ways in which things can get done at a grassroots level. And then my role, and I think Jeanette's role going forward, is how do we roll that up? And how do we get these messages out to the various communities across Scandinavia and across the Baltics to say, this is what's happening in the technology community. And I think the other thing that we want to do, which is new terrain for us, is how do we expose many of you here to the tech community that's being built in London and the other advocates we have around the world. And conversely, there are a lot of people in London today who are very interested in what's happening here, who look at Scandinavia, who look at the Baltics and say, I might want to grow my business, might want to expand, I might want to meet some of the entrepreneurs, I might want to fund some of the businesses that are over in Scandinavia. So that's what I think some of the things that I think we can do.
Fantastic, Russ, thank you. I just want to turn a little bit to that point because it's so important. So at the PR East event in London a couple of weeks ago, I had about 10 seconds to announce that we were launching Technology Advocates today in Copenhagen, and within 5 minutes of me stepping on stage were probably about 30 or 40 people that came up to me from the London tech space and said, how can I join it? So what I was telling you is the interest in London to get engaged with the Nordic and Baltic tech space. is extraordinary.
Yeah.
One more question,
Sure.
just before we hand over to Jaqueline, if we may. So a very important part of both Tech London advocates and technology advocates is our work with partners, for several reasons. One of them is that we are both not-for-profit organisations, so we only exist and can do work because we work in partnership with technology companies and other players in the technology ecosystem. And in return for their partnerships and financial contributions, we offer a significant platform to the tech world, very clearly, for organisations in our space that want to grow and expand in the Nordics and Baltics. We are the perfect platform. We're also the perfect bridge across to London and the international tech community. So we need to get more partners and sponsors on board than the two that have very boldly come forward and said, hey, we like this, we want to be part of this. So thank you again to Citrix and TNA. The question to Russ is, talk to us a little bit about how you work with partners and what you do for partners, what's in it for them and what's in it for TNA.
Thanks, Jeanette. Yes, partners are a very important part of this journey that we're on. When I set this up initially back in 2013, I bravely started to fund this myself. Tech's been very good to me, and this was part of my give back to tech. But later in the year, my bank manager said, you can't keep doing this forever, Russ. So I reached out to a number of organizations to say, look, help me with this. Help me to build this community. And in return, not only can I promote your organization to this great community, but I try to go above and beyond the call of duty, if you will, to sit down with my partners and sponsors to say, this is what's going on in the tech community in London. These are some of the exciting startups that are out there. These are the funding issues that we're facing. These are some of the people that you should be thinking about and getting to know. So, a lot of the organizations that we have, whether it's Tech UK, which Jaqueline represents, City of London Corporation, Vodafone, Russell Reynolds, the executive search firm, Pennington's, the law firm, Here East, who hosted a brilliant event for us a few weeks ago, or Central Co-working space in London and now in Manchester. These folks, really understand and appreciate the value of the community and the network. When I set this up, I felt very passionate that because I feel tech is very open and very transparent, I wanted to make it accessible. So in London, our model is we don't charge any membership fees. The group is open to anyone to join. The way you come in is through advocate introductions. So advocates introduce advocates. You can probably tell I worked at Skype for a few years. I'm a huge believer in network effects. And it is the network effects that have helped to build this organization from zero to, well, we're just shy of 2,300 advocates today, literally by people talking to each other. But the partners behind TLA who help me to fund the events, to help me to get the message out to the media, get recognition for that, not only when we broadcast to the media about what we're doing, but to this very important and influential group of leaders across London, the UK, and frankly around the world. I think that is value add to them, and maybe Jaqueline can touch on that when she speaks. But I think beyond that, I know a lot about what's going on in London tech because I live and breathe it every day. Not only from a big picture point of view, but from the street level, by sitting down with startups and scale-ups and hearing what their issues and challenges are, and trying to knit all of this together in terms of what are the issues and barriers and what are the opportunities. And I try and sit down with the partners on a regular basis to say, this is what's going on. These are some of the insights that would be beneficial to your organization. Here are some of the extra introductions that we can make. And I think so far the partners would say that they value that hugely. So it's not a big ask that we have, but I think as we build TLA and as you build TNA, the partners associated with this organization will gain a lot of value from it.
Fantastic. I will add one comment to that, and that is I haven't yet spoken to my bank manager.
Wait till that call comes.
Thank you, Russ, so much.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Russ will be around,
Yeah.
and so we can all talk to Russ. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeanette.
And with that, I'd like to introduce you to Jaqueline Rojas. So it's a huge honour to have you here today. Thank you, Jaqueline. So Jaqueline is president of TEC UK. It's a national TEC UK organisation. We can talk to us a little bit about that. And she's also the general manager for Northern Europe for Citrix, who are also on this person. So huge honour to have you here. I will say this too. So this is a bar. Jaqueline got voted the most powerful businesswoman in the UK.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, and to Russ. Amazingly passionate people, aren't they? And I think they have a single characteristic trait that they definitely share, which is they are relentless in their pursuit of their mission. And if you know Russ or Janetta at all, they never give up in terms of getting you to turn up to an event or getting you to network with someone else. So that is something that you'll need to get bitten by, that particular bug. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for giving up your time. Perhaps an introduction on my part. I do have multiple roles. So my day job is as General Manager and Vice President for Citrix Northern Europe, and that is UK, Ireland, the Nordic countries and the Baltics. So it's a really lovely mix in terms of what we're talking about today. And I'm also president of TEC UK, which is a business organisation. So it's not individuals, it's a business organisation that is the voice of the technology industry in the UK. So it, for example, I chair the Digital Economy Council, which feeds technology advice into government to help set policy and create the conditions for change for an explosive digital environment. And my mission for my presidency is to create a digital nation of significance. And underneath that, we do many things. For example,